Hey lovely viewers, it's time for Kids Paradise and this is the Child Protection segment. Today on the Child Protection segment, you're going to be talking about what should I do in case of fire emergencies. This topic is going to come in handy when you face a situation where you're in a fire emergency and you don't know what to do. So I'm hoping all viewers stay tuned and enjoy today's show. And we have a wonderful resource person from the fire service and she goes by the name ADO2 Letitia Akadini. And she's going to help us today to understand a lot about fire emergencies and how to handle them. But before we move to her, let's meet my panel for today. So today I have with me
Christiana, aka Dubai Mama.
Hey, this time you've changed it.
Hey, Akosia Dubai.
So I have Juanita and
Klaus Worldwide.
Okay, so guys, how are you doing?
Oh, great.
I'll start with you, Akosia Dubai.
Yeah, you can see me already.
Hey, we are sorry.
Then Juanita, how are you doing?
I'm good. Well, there's school and stress and everything.
Okay, so for me, I'm good. This week has been nice because we were on a midterm, but we are resuming Monday, so I'm sad.
I'm happy for you, so you come and join us. Juanita, you're going on a midterm break.
Yeah, I'm actually not that happy because if I'm in the house, they'll send me a lot. And it's sometimes when you're learning and they are sending you like
It's so painful.
That thing is so painful, but
Pains.
you need to like obey your elders, so Charlie, you don't have any other choice.
Okay, so now let's meet our guest for today. So our guest for today is, as I said, her name is ADO, which stands for Assistant Divisional Officer 2, Letitia Academy. I want her to introduce herself. Auntie, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to take this opportunity to thank all your viewers for the opportunity.
Okay.
And I'm greeting all the viewers for everything.
Yeah.
My name is Letitia, ADO Letitia Akadini, from the National Headquarters, the Public Relations Department.
Okay. Auntie, thank you so much for making time for us today. So Auntie, what's the fire service all about?
The Ghana National Fire Service is an organization. We are the National Ghana Fire Service is fire service and rescue.
Okay.
It means that the Ghana National Fire Service does not fight only fire, but we also rescue in the event of flood. Yes, last week, I don't know how many of you watched the news in Tamale, when the place got flooded. You realize that the firefighters had to go to rescue people to a safe place.
Yes.
So that is all the fire service is about. Our core mandate is to prevent undesired fires and manage them.
Okay.
Auntie, so can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the fire service for anybody out there who wants to become a firefighter in future? How has it been for you, and is it a wonderful job?
Yes, the fire service is a...
And even you, as a female, what challenges do you face? You know, because they put it to us that men are really stronger than men, and like fire service is a job for men and that kind
and
of
because
thing.
you have to be running and all that. How do you deal with that?
Fire service is not a job for only men. It's for both women. We have we have men in the fire service who equally fight fire. And how many of you watch the news where a female firefighter led in Akwetia the men to the fire ground at Mankasim Fire to save the market from burning?
Yes.
She was a female,
Yes.
but she was the contingent leader. She led the firefighters to fight the fire to save the place. So it is not only for for males. And the challenges the women face is when we are pregnant, and then we have to go on maternity leave. There are the challenges. Even though maternity leave is given to us, but there are challenges that we go through as women when we have some of us when we have, especially when we are pregnant, we go through certain things. But you still go to work through the 9th month until you are due for maternity leave, then you go. So there are some of the challenges as female firefighters who face, but it is for both females and males, and not only females.
Auntie, you mentioned that even during the 9th month of pregnancy, women go to work. Please, isn't that harmful to the baby?
No, it is not harmful to the baby because pregnancy is not sickness. Pregnancy is part of human life. So when if you are pregnant and you are not sick, you are not admitted at the hospital, you are okay, you come to work like a normal firefighter until your time is due for you to go on maternity leave, then you go and deliver.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about how the fire service was established? Because how did it come about? Were there fire service already, or?
No, there was no fire service already. The fire service was, before the fire service was established, fires used to be fought by the Asafo companies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the traditional leaders. Before, that's how fire used to, they used to fight fire by the Asafo companies before the fire service was established. And then after the establishment of the fire service in the 1960s, then it was re-established in 1997. That is how the Ghana National Fire Service was established.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now, before I come to you, I guess, I want you guys to know, do you know any reason why, what causes most of our fire emergencies in Ghana?
The causes of fires are many. The major causes of fires are: one, accident. Accidental, we have accidental fires, we have ignorance, we have natural causes, and then we have carelessness, we have negligence. They are the major causes of fires.
Oh, okay.
Auntie, can you break them down for our viewers?
Yes, in the case of accidental fires, accidents occur without you knowing that an accident will occur. For instance, when there was an accident where the two cars collided, you realize that they caught fire.
Yes.
And the people got burnt beyond recognition.
Yes.
So that is one of the accidental fires.
Okay.
And then when we talk about negligence, negligence comes about when you put, for instance, water, you want to heat water, you fetch water into a container, place a heater in it, and then you go to attend to something else. Human as you are, you tend to forget. Yeah. And then when the water in the container gets finished, let's say whether it is metal or it is a plastic container, the water will still the metal, when it gets into contact with a combustible material, it can still catch fire. When I'm talking about something being combustible, for instance, when there's a carpet and the heat, the container gets in touch, it can catch fire. When it is plastic, it can melt down and then it will cause fire. So that is as a result of negligence. Negligence, again, can also be that the gas is faster. When you are heating food, let's say maybe soup after close of work, or when you return from school and you go to the kitchen to heat food, for instance, some soup to eat, and then you leave it on the stove and goes out of the kitchen. When you stay for a longer time without attending to it, it's as a result of negligence. So that can also cause fire in the kitchen.
I also know that leaving your iron on for a long period of time can also bring about the things when you have a fire outbreak.
Is that true?
Yes, it is true. For instance, when you go to homes, that one can be attributed to ignorance, as I said, the causes. When you go to our homes, you realize that we place ironing boards, then we put clothing. It's permanently there. That is where we iron. And then when we finish ironing, we just simply put off the fire, put off the light, and then we leave the iron stuck to the socket. It is as a result of ignorance. Because when the thermostat of that iron is not working, overheating will take place, then fire will occur. So it is true that leaving your iron on for a longer time can cause fire.
Okay. So, Auntie, please, what are some things that we can do to prevent from?
Some of the things that you have to do to prevent fire, we have the do's and don'ts. Children as you are not supposed to play with match. You are not supposed to play with the gas. You are not supposed to play with the electrical installations. When I talk about electrical installations, we are talking about our socket, our switches, and etc. You go to certain homes, people play with them. Children, you are not supposed to play with those gadgets. And you are not supposed to, as a child, you light match and then you'll be throwing it around. You are not supposed to go to the kitchen and light match because there's gas in the kitchen. And those things, when you do them, it will bring about fire. So they are the things that as children are not supposed to do.
So, Auntie, please, in recent times, we have been listening to news all over, and then there are incidents where they call the fire service, Ghana Fire Service, like, was it Mokola or Accra one?
The fire outbreak.
Yeah, the fire outbreak. I heard when they called them, when they came, there was no water. And because of this, it leads to death and all other injuries. What are some of the measures you've put in place or we can do before you come in to help?
In the first place, before I answer your question, it is not true that they went to the fire scene without water in the tender. It is a perception. But when there's a perception, it takes time for you to convince people to realize that that perception is not true.
Oh, okay.
They went, there's no way a journalist will go to the scene without a paper and a pen, or a book and a pen.
Yeah.
Same way, there's no way a firefighter will go to a fire scene without water in the tender. They actually went with water in the tender. But you realize that the fire tender, that as you see, we have the tank, which contains the water. We have apartments for the accoutrements. We have apartments for the firefighters, which is the crew members that went to fight the fire. And you realize that in Makwala, accessibility is a problem.
Yes.
So to gain access was difficult. Okay. And in order to fight the fire, they have to lay hoses. And you know that when you lay hoses up to a certain length, the pressure reduces. So the water that will come out will be a little, and then the water gets finished in the fire tender. Okay. And because it will be in a short period that they've seen that the firefighters arrive at the fire ground and then they have to leave, then people will begin to say they came to the fire ground without fire in the tender. But in actual fact, there's no fire tender in the Ghana National Fire Service at the station that is packed without water in it. The reason is every crew that will take over will make sure they have to check the water level, the oil, everything before they take over.
Okay.
And so every fire tender that attends to the fire is always full of water in the tank.
Okay.
So even add up to what Klaus was talking about, you know, he was talking about the fire at Makola, the fire outbreak at Makola. So with that incident, what will somebody do if they find themselves in that building that was burning?
Before your help?
Yes. Are they supposed to stand there and panic or do something?
Yes. Before that, when the fire started, like I say, if you are in the building, the first thing you have to do is to raise an alarm. If that particular building has an alarm system, a warning system in it, when we talk about a warning system, it is a system where you press the alarm system and then it will sound to alert everybody in the premises that they have to evacuate. Evacuating means they have to leave the building immediately through the nearest exit.
Okay.
As soon as, if you were to be in that situation, in that building, or if you were to be in that building, the first thing that should come to your mind is to raise an alarm.
Okay.
That is if there's a system fitted into the premises, the alarm system, you sound the alarm. If there's no alarm to be sounded, that you do it manually. Manually, you should begin to shout fire, fire, severally to alert everybody in the building to evacuate.
Okay.
To the nearest, to the assembly point. When you leave the building, you're not supposed to go home. And then when you leave the building, the second thing is to call the Ghana National Fire Service. You call the Ghana National Fire Service as soon as you leave the building. But when you leave the building, you are not going home. You have to go to an assembly point, a place that is designated. But in Makwala, where it got burned, they didn't even have an assembly point.
Oh, okay.
But all the same, when you are in the building and you leave, you are not supposed to leave. You have to get to a place that is safety. And then you be at a safe place. When we talk about a place being safety, when you leave the building and you are standing by the building, you are not safe yet, or you are in the corridor of the building, you have to leave the corridor and go to the compound where we set the cameras for the practical demonstration. That is comparative safety. And then when the firefighters come in, then a record will be conducted.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the third thing is you have to use, for instance, here, if there are first aid equipment in the premises, for instance, fire extinguishers, then you use the fire extinguishers to start fighting the fire. But then you have called the fire service. Under no circumstances should one start fighting fire without calling the fire service. The reason is when you are fighting the fire on your own without calling the fire service, when the fire gets out of hand, you cannot handle it. So you use the first aid equipment to start fighting the fire, then you call in the fire service.
Auntie, even if you want to call in the fire service, what number are you supposed to call?
191. Or the emergency line for all the emergency services, which is 911.
Okay.
Okay,
the emergency line.
And what are one of the most dependable ways of fighting fire?
dependable ways of fighting fire.
What she means is that what's the best way to fight fire as an individual?
As an individual, if it is a domestic fire in the home, because you are children and mostly you have to deal with domestic fires in the home. Either you are cooking in the kitchen or the fire has started in the house from maybe it could be an electrical source, it could be that you are cooking in the kitchen.
Yes.
If it is an electrical source, then the mains have to be put off. The main switch, you quickly put off the main switch. An electrical fire, you don't use water to fight it. That is why fires are classified. We have classes of fire. The reason for classifying fires is to be able to know the extinguishing medium to use. When I talk about the extinguishing medium, I'm talking about what to use to fight a particular fire.
Okay.
For instance, when you are frying plantain in the kitchen and there's fire, you can use water to put off such a fire because it's called class B. The reason is the density nature of water makes it difficult to mix with water. Yeah. So when you pour water into it, realize that the fire will become even bigger than the way it was. So you use, if you have a fire extinguisher, you use it to put off the fire. Okay. If not, you use, we have what we call the fire blanket. When you don't have the fire blanket, you can soak a kitchen napkin and then use to cover it. Or if there's a lid of a saucepan, that can cover the circumference of the frying pan, because your main aim is to cut off the oxygen. Once the oxygen is cut off, then the fire goes off.
Okay.
That's why we have the triangular combustion, where we have the oxygen, fuel, and then we have heat.
Okay.
Once part of the triangle goes off, then the fire will go off.
Please, you said we don't use water.
We
don't use water in the home.
I said we don't use water to put off all the fires.
Oh, okay, all the fires.
That is why we have classified fires under classes. Okay. Class A, you can use water to put off class A fire, because class A fires are fires involving solid materials. Okay. So when solid materials, the examples are clothing, paper, wood, and etc. When such materials are on fire, you can use water to put it off. Okay. And when, for instance, the kitchen fire, where it has to do with frying with oil, that is a class B fire. You can use water to put off such a class of fire.
Okay.
For instance, the circle fire that occurred, the twin fire. How many of you remember? Maybe you were little.
Yes.
But you can remember.
Yes.
At least you are a bit big.
Yes.
That fire, you realize that it rained heavily.
Yes.
But why is it that the fire was on top of water and was still burning?
Hey.
It is. You
yes.
You were very
small.
Exactly.
And
so you realize that that day it rained heavily.
Yes.
And yet fire was still raging on top of the water.
Yes.
It's as a result of the density nature of water. And that is a very good example of a class B fire.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Auntie, please, what are the three components of?
The three, it is oxygen, fuel, and heat.
Oh, okay.
As I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
They are the three components that can constitute fire. Without the three, fire cannot.
Okay.
Okay.
Auntie, how do you deal with prank calls and how does it affect your work? You know, some people call the fire service with no emergency.
The prank calls affects our work so much. The reason is when, our lines are emergency lines. And when you are playing with our lines by bringing in prank calls, somebody elsewhere has real emergency situation where the person wants to reach out to us. Yes. But because we have engaged the lines playing with them, we are not able to, the person is not able to get to us. And by the time the person gets to us, after you have left the lines, things will have gone worse. Yeah. If we had received a call on time to go for the fire, it would have been better. That is why it is said that fire safety is a shared responsibility. Okay. It has to take you and I to be able to fight fire. Okay. Or to put safety measures in place to prevent fire from occurring. Because the best way to fight fire is to prevent it from occurring. Because I believe many of you have seen fires, and any time it occurs, even though we go and put out the fire, but property and life is always lost. Yes. Most times. So the best way is to prevent it from occurring. That is why today I am here, to educate you on the safety measures of fire, so that children as you are, you don't play with our emergency lines like he asked the dangers involved. It's when you do that, it is a lot of challenge to us.
Okay, so we have to wrap up on this part of the CPS, but before we go, I want to know what you guys learned today on controlling fires. Okay, so I learned there are types of fires. We don't just use water to quench all types of fires. And when it comes to paper, wood, and this petty
solid stuff,
yes.
we use you can use water, but then cases like what happened at Circle, we can't just use water. Yeah.
Yeah, to even add up to what Klaus said, well, I learned that you can use a fire blanket to actually take out a fire, and also you're not supposed to do prank calls, because when you prank call the fire service, somebody's life is at stake.
Okay, Christy, what about you?
Because I learned that the three components of fire are oxygen, fuel, and heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Auntie, so please, can you wrap up by telling us how someone can call the fire service in time of emergencies, and what advice will you give to everyone out there about the fire service?
Yes, like it's not only fire blanket that you
Yes,
can use
yes.
to fight a Class B fire.
Yeah.
I made mention of the kitchen napkin.
Okay.
You soak
Yes.
it to cover
Water.
it, because and then you can also use, if the frying pan, the lid
Yes.
of a saucepan in the
Yes.
kitchen can cover the circumference of the
Yes.
frying pan. You cover it to cut off the oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the advice that I have for the public is that everybody has to at least get fire extinguishers in their homes,
Yeah.
because you spend so much to build a house, but putting safety measures in place is always a problem for the Ghanaian. But maximum security without fire safety is no security, because if you think you have secured the place, and when fire comes to ravage the place and take your life, it is not security.
Okay.
So maximum security without safety is no fire, is no security. So everybody has to get at least fire extinguishers in the home.
Yes.
We have to do things that we are not things properly in the home. Don't have to be negligent in our home. We don't have to be negligent. We don't have to be ignorant of the causes of fire. If you don't know anything concerning the fire service, our doors are always open onto the public. You can come over to the national headquarters, and then you can be educated on the dangers of fires, and then what safety measures we put in place to curtail these dangers.
Okay.
Okay, Auntie, thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much for having time today. So viewers, we are done with this part of the CPS, but we still have more in store for you, because right after a short break, we'll come back and we'll see how to put off fire in real action. You're going to see how she's going to put off a real fire, and I'm sure you guys don't want to miss it, so please stay tuned.
I just want to learn how to quench a fire when there's a fire outbreak in case here.
Well, I'm scared of fire, so I hope I can overcome myself.
Again, you're welcome.
Yes.
The fire safety.
Okay, so Auntie, you can take over from.
Viewers, once again, you're welcome to the fire safety education. Yes, before we go ahead, we were talking about what to do in case of fire.
Yeah.
In case of fire, if you live in a building, let's say a story building, and there are elevators, you are not supposed to use the elevators. You use the staircase.
Okay.
If not, you get stuck.
Yeah.
And when the place is the smoke in the room is very heavy, what you should do is you have to go down. You go under, and then you crawl through the smoke to go. And if your clothes catch fire, you drop, and then you roll. As you roll, the fire goes up. But when you run, as you are running, the fire will range more. The reason is, as you are running, you are providing oxygen.
And when you're crawling, how would you crawl in the smoke? Like,
In the smoke,
yes, you crawl with
you don't use your palm, because your palm is moist. And when the electrical cables are falling, you may be electrocuted. So the best thing to do is to close your distance. Or
Please, can you illustrate it for us so we can all try it?
you go down. Let's say there's a fire outbreak, and then you have to crawl. It's either you do it this way, you crawl. You don't put your palm down.
Okay.
Or if you can put this down, but it will be difficult. So you close your arms and then you crawl. Because when you do it this way, the palm is always moist.
And Auntie, we're talking about rolling.
Also rolling with my white set, I can't roll. Rolling is you drop. The moment there's a fire and your clothing catches fire, as you are running, oxygen is burning. That's why the component, one of the components of fire, what did I say? The components of fire.
Okay, you said fuel.
Oxygen. The oxygen is air, simple air. The air that is blowing. So as you are running, then you are providing oxygen onto your body.
Okay.
So the best thing is to drop, you roll. And any part of the body that touches the ground, the fire goes off.
Oh, okay.
And so before we know how to put out fire, we have to first of all learn about the fire extinguishers. And the fire extinguishers here, we have two types. We have the carbon dioxide, and then we have the dry chemical powder.
Okay.
And to operate a fire extinguisher, the first thing that should come to mind is the word pass. It's an acronym. The word pass. The word is an acronym. The P stands for you pull the safety pin. And then the A, first the A stands for you aim at the base of the fire.
Okay.
Pull the safety pin, you aim at the base of the fire,
Okay.
and then you squeeze the trigger or the lever or the handle.
Okay.
And then you sweep side and side to put off the fire. When we start the demonstration, when we set off the fire, you see how it is. Before you go on the demonstration, you should know what a fire extinguisher is. So a fire extinguisher is a first aid fire equipment used to put out fire at the initial stage. A fire extinguisher is a first aid fire equipment used to put out fire at the initial stage. When the fire has just started very small, that is where a fire extinguisher comes in.
Okay. So
When the fire becomes big, you can't use fire extinguishers anymore.
Okay.
And so this is the dry chemical powder, and this is the dry chemical powder, and this is the carbon dioxide. And so we have the handle, we have the trigger that I made mention of, we have a gauge, we have a safety pin, and then we have a seal, we have a safety pin. The work of this seal is to prevent the safety pin from coming off. And the work of the safety pin is to prevent the fire extinguisher from accidental operation. And so to operate this is the dry chemical powder, this is the hose, and this is the cylinder containing the dry chemical powder. When you hold it, you want to operate it, after you pull the safety pin and you are pressing, you hold the nozzle. When you hold the hose, it will dangle and the content may come at you. So you make sure you hold the nozzle. At the same,
I know, right?
I'm scared. Let's go. Please let me move back.
I'm not even scared.
Christiana, come.
I know, right?
Hey.
So that's
Class B fires are petrol, kerosene, diesel. The examples of Class B fires are petrol, kerosene, diesel, and
Hey,
etc.
you people. You guys. We said a Lord's Prayer or something.
Which example of
what are you running?
and so this is which example of
Class B.
Class B.
class of fire is this? Who can tell me a class of fire?
Class B.
Yeah, this is a Class B fire. And so I'm coming to use water to put off the Class B
It's
fire.
not going
It's
increasing.
Well, this is what? What is that?
Yeah, it's increasing.
because of the density in water.
Yes.
What is the reason? As I told you.
yeah.
So the oil comes up, the petrol is burning.
I know, right?
It's like the sun.
We call
It's so hot there.
Okay.
I know, right?
we call it blanketing or smothering.
Okay.
That is by covering it. So you watch. Anytime you want to fight fire, you watch the wind direction.
Okay.
Anytime you want to fight fire, whether it is in the kitchen or wherever, whether it's an open space, you have to watch the wind direction.
Yeah.
So you watch. When it is on the ground, you make sure you stand at akimbo. When you stand at ease, the possibility of falling into the fire is there. So you watch. Watch.
That's okay.
And so you see that the oxygen is
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And so you see that the oxygen is cut off and the fire is gone off.
Yes.
It is not the water that is putting off the fire. It is the reason for soaking the sack is because it is interweaved. If it is not soaked, the holes in it will be visible. That is why we soaked it. And now the oxygen is cut off. When you want to find out whether the fire is off, you check it from the opposite direction. So I'm checking. Whether it is in the kitchen and use a napkin, don't use one hand. Anytime you want to take off, whether it is in the kitchen and use a napkin, don't use one hand. When you use one hand, the possibility of dragging the content, that is if it is hot oil or whatever on fire, you drag it onto yourself and you get burnt. So what you should do is you use one hand at all times to make sure you remove a fire blanket, or whether it is a jute sack or a kitchen napkin. And do it one after the other. Yes. So we are doing it again.
Okay,
and all of you, are finished with 10, you go and do it one after the other. Yes.
Oh, Klaus. Klaus, yes. Klaus is
Yeah,
the
Klaus.
boy. Yes.
Yours is just put it. No, I'll put on the fire for you. Yours is to just put it off with the with the blanket for me. Fighting fire is about courage. Don't panic.
Okay, so it's
Just-
already wet up. Should I
Fighting fire is about courage. Gather courage and then go and do it. Don't throw the sack. Do it just as I taught
get
you.
close to it?
Exactly like I've done. And then you don't throw it. Go, don't throw it.
Okay, I tried, yes.
And so you wait. And so
Clap for Klaus, you
you
guys.
check and see whether the fire is off.
Okay, it's off.
Fire is off.
No, Juanita. Yes. Juanita is scared. I think Juanita should do it.
I beg you.
Juanita, please do it. No, Juanita. Since Juanita is scared, I think Juanita should do it. Juanita, please do it.
Fire extinguisher.
Extinguisher.
No, use the sack. The last one.
Juanita, we don't have much time.
Last one. No, use the sack. The last one. Then we use the extinguisher.
Juanita, we don't have
No,
much
the sack. Last one. Please hurry up.
Hey.
So the guy has
Oh
just gather
my
courage
God.
and go. We say what men can do, women
scared,
can
like
do.
I'm
So the
scared.
guy has done it. You to go. Go closer. Don't throw it, please. Hurry up. Hurry up. Take it as if it's a real situation. So hurry up. Stop
So,
playing.
okay, so like
Hurry
that
up.
remove it.
No, you have to wait.
Hey.
So you wait.
You wait
I
till
check from
it
this
goes.
side.
Before you remove it, you check from the opposite direction and see whether it is off.
Two hands.
With two hands, I beg, don't use one hand, please. Don't use one hand. Squat well.
I
say check. Remove it. That's why I say check. You didn't check. The reason is when the situation becomes this way. So you see, I brought two sacks. The reason is when the situation becomes this way, and you try to pick this one. When you try to pick the one that is already on the fire, you will invite oxygen into it. So you quickly take the second sack or your blanket, and then you come and cover it. That is why I brought two sacks. So that when you fail the first attempt, don't go and remove it. Other than that, you burn yourself. Like, what's the name, Juanita? Yeah. You realize that the fire nearly caught up with you. So as soon as you realize that the fire is still not off, or you come and then you close it halfway, you don't try to remove it and place it back. You quickly go for the second one and then use it to cover it. So see how I'm doing it. I'm watching. So I'll watch. Little before I open. You don't just come and then you pick it or you open
With
it.
the fire extinguisher, so
Okay.
I feel like a burning sensation.
You are afraid so much of fire. Oh. You are afraid so much of fire, eh? Nobody likes fire except you are setting it to you to use.
After this, I'm not trying to slap this you.
Gandhi, yeah, do it.
I'm not going.
Gandhi, yeah, do it.
I feel burnt. Yeah, I feel.
Oh. Okay.
So you watch. We are coming to use this. Oh, it won't do anything. We are coming to use the fire extinguisher because this CO2 doesn't leave traces. So you watch. The safety pin, you don't throw it away. You keep it because you will use it again. So you come closer. Have you seen? It's very effective. And when you are fighting fire, don't walk through the fire. You see, this is the fire. You realize I was walking by the side. Other than that, when you are walking through, the fire can catch up with you when there is reignition.
So
Because the fire may reignite along the line as you are fighting it. And when you walk through it, then it will catch up with you. So you walk by the side as you fight. So there's the carbon dioxide.
I want to try because
The gentleman will do it.
Hey. Okay, so yeah. So am I going?
Okay,
You want to
Christy will
try?
try.
You use this
Hey.
one. We use this one last. Because this one,
Auntie, we don't
So
have much
am I
time.
going?
Okay, Christy will try.
you use this one. We use this one last because this one we use it once. No, because of its nature, you can't stand here. The nature of this one is to leave traces. So please, you hurry up, eh? Hurry up. It's okay. Well done, well done. Clap for him. We are wrapping up, but we are using this one for the last, the Drachemka powder. You see how I say it leaves traces?
Yeah.
Our fuel is even done.
yeah, bent too.
Somebody should take the this in away, eh? The gallon. You realize that the fire is even the. Oh, this fuel, how much did they buy? So small.
Welcome back, guys. It's time for the Word of the Day segment with me, Gabby, and today I have a wonderful guest joining us. Sumaya, can you introduce yourself?
Hello guys, it's Sumaya once again.
Okay, so this is the Word of the Day segment, and we're going to be learning 2 new words to brighten up your vocabulary, so you can even use it to flex during this week. And I think these words are related to what we did today on the CPS segment. So Sumaya, what did you learn today on the segment?
Okay, I learned how to use the fire extinguisher.
Okay. So today our first word is flammables.
Flammable, F-L-A-M-A-B-L-E, flammable.
And part of speech, adjective. Definition. Definition. A substance or material that bends very easily. A substance or material that bends very easily. A substance or material consisting of fire or burning strongly and brightly. Consisting of fire or burning strongly and brightly. Our second word for today is fiery. The word again is fiery.
Fiery.
The word again is fiery. Fiery is spelled F-I-E-R-Y. Fiery again is spelled F-I-E-R-Y. Part of speech, adjective. Part of speech, adjective. Definition. Consisting of fire or burning strongly and brightly. Consisting of fire or burning strongly and brightly. Can you give us a sentence with fiery?
Fiery. The food was fiery hot.
Okay, again, the sentence again.
The food was fiery hot.
Okay, so today we have another word. Our last word for today is firefighter. The word again is firefighter. Firefighter is spelled F-I-R-E-F-I-G-H-T-E-R. Firefighter again is spelled F-I-R-E-F-I-G-H-T-E-R. Firefighter. Part of speech, noun. Definition. A person whose job is to extinguish fires. Again, a person whose job is to extinguish fires. So Maya, can you help us with a sentence with firefighter?
Juanita was once a firefighter.
Juanita was once a firefighter. Okay, I also have a sentence with firefighter, and my sentence is, the firefighters reached the place just in time to quench the fire. The firefighters reached the place just in time to quench the fire. So that's all we have for you today on the Word of the Day segment. Up next is the Whose Birthday segment. Please stay tuned.
You're still watching your second to none favorite show right here on Joy Prime. I'm your boy Danny Harris, and on the birthday segment, I have the chap Don Dre to assist me. Charlie, bro, Charlie, what's going on? Oh, Charlie, I'm also cool, God. So without wasting my time, let's get straight to the birthday wishes or messages for today. Today is your birthday, Michael Nana Eko Sago. May God grant you wisdom and grace in all your dealings. Amen.
Amen. You are a precious treasure to us all. May God bless you with more grace and prosperity. Happy belated birthday to you, Kobina Adiba. This is from your parents and siblings.
Happy belated birthday to you, dearest mom, Joyce Insia. We will forever love you, from your daughter, Abigail. Happy belated birthday to you, dearest mom, Joyce Insia. We will forever love you, from your daughter, Abigail.
Happy birthday to our big baby boy, Festus Kweku Deborah. May you grow up to be the best. We love you so much from
Okay. Kweku Deborah. May you grow up to be the best. We love you so much, from mom and dad, Sylvia, Kofi, and Akosia Papa B. So that's literally Christiana's little brother. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Eliona and Eldin Insia. Wishing you guys love, peace, and everlasting joy. And may God grant you all your heart desires. Amen. Enjoy your day. Happy birthday, Benedicta Yaira Kofi. May the joy of the Lord be your portion all the days of your life. Amen. Happy birthday, Nana Gazor. May God continue to favor you all the days of your life. Amen. Happy birthday, Michael Presence Adumako II. May you soar higher and higher. Amen. That's all for the birthday segment, and don't forget to keep watching for Kids Paradise, and also follow our social media pages. We are really active there. You can follow us on Instagram at For Kids Paradise, and also at TikTok at For Kids Paradise. Don't forget to join our challenge as well. So stay tuned. Right here in the studio.